Once the mighty beasts we know as dinosaurs ruled the world, whether it be a 40-feet T-Rex, or a giant horned Triceratops, or the flying Pteranodon, ready to cath even the wildest predators. The age of dinosaurs was truly a nightmare for other creatures, and the dinos ruled the earth. But then, what happened? Fact Chronicles presents to you what happened after dinosaurs went extinct. The story starts 66 million years ago, when an asteroid as large as Mount Everest was on a devastating collision course with Earth. The impact was so terrible that it wiped out the most massive, deadliest beast to ever wander our planet. Yet the dinosaurs didn't just die from one big blast. They faced a slow and agonizing finish. How did this extinction event generate the greatest tsunami Earth has ever seen? And what exactly happened when the giant reptiles disappeared? Hold on tight. We're bringing you with them. Most amazing and deadly journey of your life. This dinosaur-ending asteroid is terrible. Not only was it around 10 kilometers in diameter, but it also traveled tremendously rapidly between 10 and 30 kilometers per second. At this point, it was a flaming fireball, and as it hurtled down to Earth, the air in front of it compressed and heated up to unimaginable scorching temperatures. Just before the impact, the asteroid could have been as hot as the surface of the sun. Once it entered our atmosphere, it only took a few seconds for this gigantic space rock to reach Earth's surface and change the course of life forever. As the asteroid slammed with Earth off the coast of where Mexico is now, huge amounts of debris were sent into the air. The stunning blast wave annihilated everything in its path, and from here, it was just getting worse. 66 million years ago, Earth was going through some difficult times. Currently, our planet is not confronting a big asteroid, but we are experiencing more serious environmental catastrophes. This enormous blast pushed chunks of the Earth's surface into the atmosphere, and minutes later, scorching hot fragments of glass and rock fell back down. Some of the debris mixed with the atmosphere, generating acid rain that would last years. The soil was burning, and the fires generated by this horrific impact swept throughout the continent like real wildfire, killing more and more life on the way. And then, just as you thought the apocalyptic scenario couldn't get any more horrific, it did. The impact of the asteroid hitting Earth was so intense that it blasted shockwaves across the Earth. And all that energy had to go somewhere. So a wall of water almost 10 meters high raced across the ocean. This wasn't your typical tsunami. It was an astounding 30,000 times more powerful than anything you see today. And this huge wave swept across the North Atlantic and South Pacific coasts, didn't stand a chance. The tsunami impacted so hard that it wrecked and changed the continent. If you were there to witness this apocalyptic destruction, you wouldn't survive any of it. But some dinosaurs did. The ones further away from ground zero weren't immediately obliterated by the impact. They weren't incinerated by the resulting infernos. And they managed to avoid being swept away by the mega tsunami. But their fate was sealed as the dust began to settle. It was the start of a nuclear winter, even though it wasn't caused by nuclear weapons. The effect was the same. The massive amount of debris in the air blocked the sunlight for months, maybe even years. Earth suddenly became a cold, dark place, and the dinosaurs weren't ready for it. Temperatures plummeted, and fires released enormous amounts of greenhouse gases. The climate changed dramatically. Plants weren't able to perform photosynthesis, and most of them started to die out. This disrupted the food chain and starved many of the animals that survived the impact. These persistent extreme conditions, combined with the initial blow, forced approximately 75% of Earth's life to extinction. The good news is that this includes the terrifying T-Rex. As much as I feel awful for this guy, I'm glad he's not running around today. When the last dinosaur drew their last breath, Earth became an empty and forlorn. When did things return to normal in this frigid and acidic place? Well, here's the thing. They didn't follow the regular dinosaur era. Anyway, Earth did not rebuild after that. It recreated itself. 1,000 years later, The Earth was recuperating from the post-apocalyptic winter. It was still cold and food was scarce, but life was ready to return. In this new wild world, some hairy little critters were dashing around, and ferns were among the first plants to reappear following the impact. They really hit it off well after the accident. 100,000 years later, Earth began to get a little more lively, with creatures about the size of raccoons repopulating the continents and the oceans once again teeming with life. Fast forward about 10 million years, and Earth had finally restored its biodiversity. But it wasn't the same Earth as it used to be. It was the age of mammals. Once the dinosaurs checked out, mammals were on fire. Not literally, of course. Mammals, birds, and flowering plants were rocking the planet. Earth never got back to its old self after the last dinosaur died. It took our planet millions of years to bounce back in a new way. But don't get me wrong, this world was still pretty terrifying. Ceratherium roams the land, and megalodons reign. Terror in the water. It's probably for the best that most of these monsters aren't there these days. You wouldn't want to confront a meg when you're out there swimming in the ocean, even without bloodthirsty megs lurking around the oceans. But when it comes to nature, us humans are no less monsters than the mighty beasts we have been talking about. For every one of us has an equal contribution in polluting our seas and air. For the mighty beasts were punished by an asteroid. We are now being punished by the gods. Thanks for watching, and stay with us to know a lot more about some of the most amazing facts about the globe.